We're talking with QU volleyball coach Hadley Foster, and he is the coach of the QU men, and they are off to a 4-2 start this season. I know how coaches are. Whether you're 6-0 or 0, you're never happy. But as far as being a coach goes, are you kind of happy with the start so far?
I'm actually happy. Guys are doing some good things. Brought in some new players and been able to find places to put them in and get some use out of them. Feels like we have a little more top end than we've had in the past, where we have some potential to do some things. The conference schedule is really the only one that matters to me when it comes down to it. So.
And you and I have talked about this over the weekend. The MIVA conference is a bear this year.
It really is. This might be the best team I've had in a very long time, and this conference is better than it's ever been, so who knows what's going to happen.
Are we seeing, when you're out recruiting, is it easier to find players because the popularity of the sport's growing, or it's a double-edged sword because it's growing at all these other colleges, so everybody else is going for the same players too?
I think the getting the top players hasn't really changed. It's the guys that fill the roles for you and do the dirty work and develop from their freshman year to their sophomore year. Those guys are getting a lot harder to find because there's been an explosion in the Division III ranks, and a lot of smaller schools have added. So those kids that would traditionally come to Quincy and turn into huge difference makers for us by the time they're juniors are going to a smaller school right off the bat. So it's a little harder to get that kid to come to Quincy. The top kids, it's not really changed.
Right. And when the way volleyball is set up, when people come out to Pepsi Arena to see you guys play, you are playing along with schools that maybe people are familiar with through the GLVC action, like Lewis or some of the others, but you play the Penn States, the Ohio States, those people as well.
I'd love to get Penn State. Can't seem to find a way to get them to schedule me, but we get Ohio State and Ball State and Loyola, IPFW, Grand Canyon. Those are teams that aren't GLVC teams, but we also have McKendree and Lewis, who's ranked number 2 in the nation right now, that are GLVC teams. So it's interesting how the schedule works out. I mean, we've managed to get to play some amazing teams in my time at Quincy. I've played USC and Stanford and Pacific, Northridge. We've had George Mason. It's just men's volleyball is unique in the names that you get to play. The name isn't who you play though. So right. We're right there with all of those teams. It's just a matter of getting the education out there so people understand that we're a legitimate program in a very tough sport nationally. And
again, so like I said earlier, off to a 4-2 start. Conference play not geared up yet though?
Starts Friday,
okay.
We're at Ball State Friday.
All right, and you're back on the home court at Pepsi Arena again.
Valentine's Day.
What a great day. You come out to the Tilted Kilt either before or after the match, but you also get to go out to Pepsi Arena and go see the guys. They'll be here after the match. So we hope to see you here at Tilted Kilt Quincy, where we are taping this right now, video podcast, but also want to see you out at Pepsi Arena. Do your crowds seem to build as the season progresses?
They do. Sometimes we have to catch a break on the day of the week, but for the most part, we get solid crowds all the way through the season, and then as we get into the conference, they get bigger.
Yeah, and I think the one thing for maybe people aren't familiar with men's volleyball, you go out there and watch, it is really, I think it's the power game that is really fascinating, the speeds that are generated, and to watch these guys jump. It's incredible to watch.
It's a lot of fun to watch. It's much faster. It's basketball without the running. I mean, all we're doing is going up and trying to dunk, hit as hard as we can, or trying to block it. And if for some reason it gets past the net, somebody's taking a hit.
You talked about dunking. You said you got some guys who can hold their own when it comes to dunking as well,
I have some guys that can get up.
Well, that's great. Well, Hadley, we want to thank you for stopping by. And again, good luck here. We'll talk to you again here as the season progresses.
Thank you. Appreciate it.